Welcome to Grow Overload, and we're going to start with a good one this week's episodes of the Tony Tech Topics with more news to cover. And this one is fascinating because it also helped bump up Intel stock quite a bit as well. Not as much as what Nvidia's 5 billion did, but Intel and AMD, there's a rumor out there that they're trying to have a deal at something for upcoming 18A and 14A nodes. Now, this is very, very fascinating to me. It is showing that the manufacturing here in the United States for TSMC is not enough to be able to cover everything for AMD. And I'm guessing Nvidia is going to be down the line of doing manufacturing here too. The 5 billion kind of pointed me towards that. We'll see. But if AMD does it too, you could see a lot of stuff being maybe made here. Again, there's tariffs here in the United States. The United States does want a lot more manufacturing here. And if AMD were to make this deal, it could lead to very interesting. Also, with what Intel has been going through, there's a lot out there where you're just like, you know what, Intel's trying to get some money, trying to get back and have good footing. Their foundries need help, right? And if you have money from AMD, maybe Nvidia, making your chips, you're going to have a little bit better footing here going forward, and hopefully something to have a business model where you can maybe, you know, have an ability to really compete with TSMC. You're seeing some other semiconductor companies start up. There's the Japan, they're creating their own semiconductor company. There's things around the world where they want, global foundries kind of fell off, right? And Intel maybe sees this as, hey, there's an opportunity here. Maybe if we shift gears a little bit and maybe we just do CPUs, get really good at foundry, we can have a footing in an area to have enough so that we can be profitable and have a sustainable business long term. That is a very interesting aspect. Maybe even a licensing deal with x86 licenses going to Nvidia, and they just kind of are, or do they turn more into an ARM with an x86 license where they kind of design it and then give it to Nvidia to kind of manufacture? That could be actually really interesting as well. That aspect of it, I haven't really thought that one through, but that just came to me right now, where you could just do well, you could do a licensing deal there. Now, I'm sure that there's something with the way patents are gone back and forth between Intel and AMD with on the x86 side that maybe that would make it more difficult, but you never know. That AMD's getting a kickback for the x64 side, right? And some of the x86 stuff they developed. This could be something where Intel has their footing. I've always thought that Intel without foundries really doesn't make sense, but an Intel foundry where it's doing everything and then they have a lot of that other stuff going on would be a great option for them. And so we'll see what they're kind of capable of doing, what they're going to approach with this, and if this deal actually gets done, because uh, having Intel make some products, as long as they have a good node, I don't see a problem with it. I see that as a way forward to them, probably their best way forward when you start to think about it. They don't really have anything on the GPU side that has really competed well. AI side, there's nothing there. They kind of missed that, but they are kind of out of the FPGA side as well. Um, with them they got rid of Altera again. I think they sold that off. And well, AMD has Xilinx, that's even working into some of their AI stuff as well, their NPU stuff. There's a lot out there that Intel's kind of missing because of what they did in the last, 10 years of buying, Mobileye and all these other companies, trying to break into markets where they weren't there, hoping that that would take them out of this mess, or taking them, I don't know if it was out of the mess or just, make them even more profitable, more dominant. And that didn't work out to that way. So if they can pull out this and have AMD and Nvidia as two of their partners to work on the foundry side and really make that take off and be dominant in foundries, there's an opportunity there, right? Samsung has tried, uh, failing, I would say, not failed, but failing. You know, they're trying to get back up there. I mean, even with Nvidia, they're trying to get their HBM, trying to get back up there, and I think now that's there, so Nvidia is going to use it. So you kind of see where TSMC has been the dominant force overall, and if they can kind of be a very good competitor against TSMC, have good performance, have competing nodes, there could be a huge opportunity for them, and I think that would be the better route than trying just to be a CPU design house, um, and hope that that will make them be profitable. But we will continue here, and I'm just going to dive into more Intel news here. You could go either way, but the Intel has a new driver. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is supported. There's some more fix issues with the Ultra Series 2. So just wanted to mention that, right? We're getting Black Ops coming down the pipe. There is, I was just going to go into some driver stuff, but let's stay on the Intel side before I go down. Intel is working to fix some of the GPU overhead issues, the ARC GPU CPU overhead issues. So Hardware on Box has some stuff out on that, where this new 7028 branch that was released in August seems like some games now are doing much better than older drivers in performance, which, you know, this is where it gets tricky, right? You get Intel starting to work on their drivers a little bit more. You get some better drivers overall, Intel, and your products look better. And then I think that uh, I want to see Intel supporting at least some sort of driver overall if they're going to stick with developing CPUs, coming up with mobile, you know, wanting to be in handhelds, because handhelds now look like they're actually going to be a market segment. However, I don't know how many they'll sell, but it's going to be a market segment, and you have AMD there. Nvidia wants some of that, so maybe get an Nvidia GPU on it. But at what point, I can see this where Nvidia maybe says we want to go our own way, and Intel is left, you know, in the dust. Do you have to put at least a little bit of effort in to have something designed, some GPU design, so that you can support this? And does that mean that you need to have enough to have maybe even a low-end GPU every single generation that could be scaled up, because you're working so closely with Nvidia, you don't really necessarily want to make them upset. But just in case there were to happen, or different directions go, or you decide to go a different direction, you can do that. And most importantly, do you have a driver ready so that that is taken care of, and you don't have to worry about going through all the pain points that you already have been going through about the driver not working, and people being upset about why it doesn't work here, why do lower end processors not work as good as higher end processors. I'm not buying a super high end processor just to run a slower graphics card, all this stuff, right? You have that kind of ironed out, and you have the drivers more stable, supporting more games, because as you put more distance in time from your first release driver till, and you keep on updating until the latest, let's say that's 3-4 years, at least then you're going to have a multitude of games that are supported, in hopes that the ones that are a lot older that may or may not or have issues, right, become fewer and fewer, in hopes that people will gravitate to your cars because you have that longevity in there. So that's something I wanted to point out there. You know, Video Cards had that article, and that was Hardware Unboxed doing it. So doing some of the testing, which they do a good job there as well. So let's see, would they have any other Intel news? Otherwise, we're going to go right into AMD, and the AMD Fluid Motion Frames 3 has been spotted in drivers. WCCF Tech had this. We'll see when this comes out, right? This is still early in this, but FSR Redstone, I expect a lot of this stuff to be released in, and we'll see how that goes. I'm not a huge frame generation person. I think that you can get quality, and you know, I like the quality of games overall, right? That's why I play them. I know I'm in the minority. People like frame rates, but we'll see how well it works, right? If it helps out people and delivers for what people want and puts it on par or at least close to, competing with Nvidia, makes sense. For me, that's not a selling point. But again, you have to, as AMD's approaching this, you have to be able to cover everything, because if you don't, you're going to be missing out on people that may be going to yours and have always been, well, Nvidia has this feature, and you kind of have to sit and compete with that, which it is what it is. We'll put it that way. Next one we're going to do is the very interesting. I saw some of this DGF block stuff on video cards, which is a density geometry format for accelerating, basically hardware accelerations in animation support. And this looks like it's a future RDNA GPU. I don't know which one it is. Video cards had this, but it looks pretty interesting overall. Highly recommend you go and do it. It's a hardware decode for this and for accelerating. This is RDNA 5. I was looking more in the article, and it didn't have RDNA 5. It said future RDNA GPU. But if, let's say, it helps with performance, helps with getting, games, if a lot of this stuff is baked into how the hardware works and how it retrieves and everything else, that could be a huge benefit. If it's something where the developer has to code this up, if the engine is going to be able to do it, let's say you work with Unreal Engine and you get a lot of the games that go with Unreal already then supporting this, that could be a huge benefit. It's those engines that aren't big, or a homegrown engine that then you're going to have to work with that developer to get it out into, and that's always my concern. So yeah, this is, well, the article continues, right, because this is some of the GPU Open and stuff there, but they had said in this article that all GPUs can run DGF via shaders today, but AMD is lining up the hardware help for RDNA 5. So this is, a cool little feature there that hopefully helps out, AMD for where they're at here. And I thought I had another couple AMD articles here, and I have one here, which is, this one is one where it's going to lead into Nvidia topics anyways, but MI450X, right? This is AMD's next generation Instinct, which I think is going out to be next year, 2026, right? Supposed to be pretty powerful, and 2300 watts. AMD's bumping up to 2500 watts of TGP. So that made it interesting for Nvidia Rubin, so VR200, because now Nvidia has bumped up their stuff. This was released in late September. Semi-Analysis had this and talking about how this has been going, but we are starting, both are in launch windows of next year, right? So HBM4 on both. AMD is supposed to have up to like 432 gigs per GPU, 288 gigs on the Nvidia side. Memory bandwidth is fairly close. Nvidia will be a little bit faster, and FP4 compute supposed to be, about 10 petaflops faster than the Nvidia one. We are going to have to wait and see. These look to be monsters of a chip, huge power in both, right? And Nvidia, WCC F-Tech had this article in there, but reading through it, it looks like Nvidia is making changes to really make sure that they don't lose out to Nvidia or to AMD in this instance. And this is fun to watch. This is where you get to very good competition, and this is what I actually want to see in the CPU and GPU side, right? We're 6 months out to a year out of these products hitting the market, and it takes time, right, to manufacture, make sure everything's running, release, all that stuff. So adjustments to products to make sure that they are designed and that can compete, and make sure that you're not going to be too far behind, and you know that you can squeeze a little bit more performance out if you do these adjustments, increase the wattage, do little tweaks like this, frequencies, whatever else. This is what excites me, because this means that there is a good competition between the two companies, and the leader is a little bit worried about the underdog coming in and maybe taking some of the market share that they don't want to give up. And that's where you get, it gets good, right? Because all of a sudden the consumer of these, which is going to be, businesses, are going to reap the benefit of it. So that's something I like to see. But we're finally seeing that. Wish it was, more than just in AI chips, and it was everywhere else, but that's where we are. Now moving in, we're going to stick with Nvidia here, because we're talking about both there. Nvidia is going to, it has released their new Nvidia app, great name, but it has G Assist for notebooks now. It has DLSS overrides. They're really starting to round this out very well. I know I have a couple clients that I've gone from the old control panel and stuff, and GeForce, I guess more importantly GeForce Experience, into the Nvidia app. Works really good for what they're using it for, right? This is more of an engineering firm there, so what they're using for making sure that they have the right drivers installed and keeping them up to date, which I do appreciate, right? Making sure I can set up everything proper there. Now, on drivers, we're just talking about the app. On the driver side of it there, the game ready drivers 581.42 are ready, and you get some more fixes, and they do have some known issues in there, but this is a good little fix. Also goes back to the GeForce 700 series on the desktop, so if you have any of those, you do get some updates there, which is good that they keep on supporting this as well. So I think we're there on this, and we're going to start now with a little bit of Microsoft news. There were some delays in some Windows 11 25H2 features for Office PCs. These were features for the Office side of things. The administration protection, that is going to be something that is delayed a little bit. Hopefully it's Microsoft finding a bug out early in the release cycle here. I mean, it's not fully released, but then they're like, you know what, we got to pull this, we got to go in a different direction. I think that is a good good thing to do, right? To get that done. Now, Microsoft has now removed some more blocks for 24H2. 24H2 Microsoft, I'll let you in a little secret, that was released last year. You should not be still having blocking stuff a year after when 25H2 is around the corner. You got some issues, Microsoft. You need to put a better, you need to do a much better job of making sure the blocking items get fixed much closer to the release. I get it. Software, you have issues. Fully understand that. But you can't just keep making it a year later and keep doing this. I get it. There are hard problems. Put some engineering resources on it. You tell me AI is so good like this. Sasha says, what, 30% of Windows is written by AI? Have it help you figure out these problems. Then this was one of those things, though, that Intel Smart Sound Technology stuff is now able to be upgraded to Windows 11 24H2. So that's good there. This is the big gaming news of this week, which I'm kind of annoyed with, which I was reading the blog post from Xbox, so news.xbox.com. So yesterday it was released, and if you're on Game Pass, there is now new pricing for it. So you have Essentials, which is 50 games you'll have playable on PC, console, and cloud for $9.99 a month here in the United States. I don't know what it is, the prices in other countries, but I'm going to go by US prices. You have Premium, so you get over 200 games, PC, console, and cloud, $14.99 a month, so 10, 15. And then Ultimate, which jumped up quite a bit. That is now $29.99, $30 a month. So you go from 10, $15 or $30 a month, but you get 400 games. There's some other stuff. It's like credit card rewards of how much, I don't know. I I get maybe if you're playing a lot of games, you're gonna have to leave in the comments below if this value is for you. For me, this really locks it up as the value is gone for me. I am not gonna be. Um, I do not play enough, I should say, to even consider this. And I I really don't. Man, I really don't know. So, granted, your ultimate subscriptions get over 75 day one releases. So, if you're in day one releases, this probably makes sense, right? You still get those day one releases that could be up there towards like $60 to $100. If you're going to play through them throughout the year, perfectly makes sense. If you're like me, that gets through like how many games have I played this year? Through, I think it's one. So I've played one game this year, and it does not make sense for me. That's still uh, $30 a year, $360 a year on games, and I'm not spending that right now. I just let's see, all the games I played, I had already purchased. So I just bought what was it? Borderlands 4. I haven't played it yet. I still need to do some testing for you guys. I'm out of town and stuff. I'm coming back into town. It's been uh, busy on my side of things, and I do apologize for not getting you the data I wanted. And I think they're patching it too, so I wanted to get some of the patch data in. So we got something reasonable besides me test it and test it again. But does that mean I'm going to play this all the way through right away? I don't know. I don't know if I have the time for that. But you know, you do get Ubisoft classics. You get Fortnite. You get EA Play on the Ultimate side of things. You know, online console multiplayer. Again, this is kind of why I'm looking at PC and replacing my console with this. The console's gone up in price. You gotta buy one of these things to play online, and you know the Game Pass things, and maybe you just go through, because essential, so $10 a month if you want to play console online, right? That's not to, you know, just play games on there. That's to, you know, play, you know, games that you go on, log online and play. And I'm not there. I'll try to remember to post this link below, but this is just one of those things where I'm really disappointed in the way Microsoft has gone this route. And hopefully it's sustainable, right? The prices spiked. I was reading this article, WCCF Tech, and it seems like the cancel page was overwhelmed. I'm seeing stuff on Twitter where people are trying to cancel, or you know, I'm guessing maybe even downgrade their subscriptions. And here they were, you know, couldn't get the page to load. Now Microsoft, you know, says they're not blocking, which makes sense, right? They don't want to cause that, but you know, this is where I'm going to be interested to see in the next year or so how this all lays out. Hopefully they don't have another price increase anytime soon, because if they have another price increase before, you know, a year's up, I think that there's going to be even more exodus from the platform. Now, and they're, you know, Microsoft already isn't putting its best foot forward for those people that have been in the Xbox ecosystem and fans of it, right? Now the Xbox president has been through, and Xbox Game Pass is profitable business that is also good for creators. So you know, that was this headline from WCCF Tech. You know, they have reached over 5 billion in sales in Game Pass. If they say it's profitable, I'm sure it's helping out creators and stuff like that. But we will have to see what is actually comes of this in the coming years, right? Microsoft really wants to make back that money. What ZeniMax, Activision Blizzard King purchase, all that stuff was a lot of money. What, nearly $80 billion and all of that. That, you know, that's a lot, and you got to make that money back somehow. And Microsoft will try to do that in some way. So let's see what we got here. World of Warcraft Midnight will be coming out here. It's an alpha. It's going, you know, this is Very interesting stuff. I used to play World of Warcraft way back, many, many years ago. But I just want to mention this. You know, they're still coming out with parts of the game, expansions, I said, to the game. Very impressive, and it keeps chugging along. I wonder if this is going to be all included in Game Pass at some point in time. Let's see here. We have let's go with Steam first. Steam is starting to put in TPM and secure boot checks in the system information underneath Steam. The reason why they're doing this is because games are going to put them in. So as games go to uh, t- needing TPM 2.0 and secure boot, you're going to need to have a new computer for that. This is disappointing. This is really disappointing. I'm not a fan of this, and we're going to be games also want to make sure that your computer gets thrown out. Yeah, this is kind of why I play older games. So and this is nothing against Steam, right? This is just they're putting it in there, so you know what you support, and this is really for the games that are forcing it. This is a beta change, but it's coming. Everyone's got to be aware of it. I did do a video this week on EA being bought for 55 billion. Go check out that video. That'd be really help out the channel. I really would appreciate that as well. And we're gonna end on a little bit of funniness from Battlefield 6. So EA, right? They're taking shots at the Call of Duty, right? Because they have I was reading the article in WCCF Tech, and it's actually kind of funny, right? Because the trailer that Battlefield 6 just came out with, and while the game is coming out within next week, I think officially, it's really talking about and took some shots. I saw it during I think my son wanted to watch a little bit of football game, and I was watching the football game, and I was chuckling at it as I was watching the commercial. And they're right. It's, you know, take a little bit of shots at Call of Duty. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is going to be out this year, right? And this could be one where finally Battlefield's got a little bit of footing here, and people are really liking what they saw in the beta. And if EA can capitalize on it, okay, how is EA going to come back and return? The commercial is pretty good at just taking shots. Highly recommend it. But let me know if I missed anything this week that you'd like me to talk about. Be sure to leave it in the comments below. Thank you so much for supporting Rare Alone and helping this channel grow. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell icon, as it really does help out the channel. Until next time, God bless.